sometimes claimants, they have problems with concentration, persistence, and pace. They have problems dealing with stress in the workplace. And ALJs try to craft these RFCs that limits a claimant from handling hourly quotas or assembly line paced work, so that the claimant isn't dealing with these hour-by-hour quotas, and they'll create it so that sometimes they'll put in even in the RFC that it has to be an end-of-day quota. The question that has to be asked here of, let's say, a vocational expert, if you have one when the vocational expert's there, is you're asking the vocational expert that assume for a moment that somebody who is working has concentration, persistence, and pace difficulties and has certain mental limitations. Isn't it fair to say that by having an end-of-day quota, you are requiring somebody with concentration difficulties to manage and maintain their own quotas, basically hour by hour, throughout the entirety of an 8-hour workday? And you would also have to ask, what are those quotas? What do they look like? What makes no sense when the judges do this is that really what they're doing by putting an end-of-day quota is they are creating, in my opinion, and what I think needs to be addressed here, is a more stressful situation, not a less stressful situation. You're requiring somebody with concentration difficulties, pace-related problems, and mental conditions not to be asked hour by hour, hey, listen, by a supervisor, hey, listen, did you hit your quota? Maybe you need to speed it up a little bit, for the next hour. No, you're asking somebody with the mental conditions that they have to manage their own pace, hour by hour, keeping up with a set pace that they're creating on their own, managing on their own until the end of the day to meet one set threshold, which they're probably going to miss the mark because they don't have the capacity to do it. And this is where it bothers me on this type of RFC, because the ALJs are missing the point that this claimant cannot create their own schedule. And somehow the ALJs think that this somehow reduces stress. And that's really kind of what you kind of have to address with the VE a little bit, because you have to paint that picture and then argue to the judge that, having this end-of-day quota, if the judge is about to give you an end-of-day quota, sometimes they telegraph it, that's not going to be enough here. And the claimant is not able to work even with end-of-day quotas because it's just too stressful.